It's a joy to be with you and talk to you today, just to share a few things from my heart to yours, from my journals, from my memories, from pictures. So follow me on our journey of remembering being a mother, being Deborah Colones, Deborah Johnson Colones, mother of 3 of the most precious, wonderful, outstanding men on the face of the earth. And I'm not a bit biased when I say that. So it's a joy being your mom. I love you. Fall of 78, I had a friend in Greenville and I was at his home with his parents, and someone knocked on the door. This is pre-cell phone days, and they said, please quick, call 911. There's a bad wreck out on the 2-lane road near Travelers Rest. And I said, I know CPR, I'm a lifeguard, I can go help. You can understand this, being medic, I just was not prepared for what I came upon. There were 2 cars. It was a bad crash. A small fire had started and was growing, and the ambulance wasn't coming, the fire trucks weren't coming, and we were able to get 2 bodies out. They were lifeless, but one of the young people was screaming and crying for help. I've just never seen anything that difficult, and it just rocked my world. And I thought to myself, am I going to heaven or am I going to hell? I got to get back to college and talk to Robbie Colones. And I had met your dad, which you know, in a speech class, and we just were really good friends. Looking back, he probably wanted it to be more, but at that time, I wanted just to be friends. He was coming out of a relationship, and I was trying to figure out relationships, so we were just friends. We did everything together. We went to Wendy's and walked. He plays guitar, and we just had a good time together, so we were friends. But I got back and I talked to him, and he opened his Bible, and he, as a freshman in college, had felt like he needed to study the Bible as much as he studied his pre-medical books down at College of Charleston. And then thankfully he broke up with his fiance and moved to Carolina, where I met him. So that was a gift, but I'd never understood somebody that knew the Bible. So he reassured me, and I made sure of my salvation at that point. And I made Jesus Lord of my life in that next year. And that was a big move, just wanting him to show me the way and the path that he wanted. And I realized that I still had a lot of work to do. We became engaged. He asked me to marry him. One time I said no. I did. It totally was out of the blue. And I'm so grateful that he stuck with me and he asked me a second time. He said he was going to give me one more chance. But I was young and I didn't know what I had. So I'm grateful that he hung in there and asked a second time. We were married in December of 1980. Whoever thought about getting married at Christmas was crazy. We wanted, to have a foundation for y'all that was a strong foundation, mostly a mom and dad that loved each other well. Because in the end, I think you'll find this when you're parents, that your kids don't want stuff. They want a mom and dad who love each other well, who love God well. So we've tried to build that foundation. I think just the verses that y'all learned at Awana and the Bible verse memory that we tried to encourage and instill in you as kids, those verses hopefully will carry you far. And some of the songs, the praise songs that we sang, like "My Lord knows the way through the wilderness. All I have to do is follow. Strength for today is mine always, and all that I need for tomorrow. My Lord knows the way through the wilderness. All I have to do is follow." Some of our darkest trails, some of our darkest times, we have that treasury of songs that we can sing, or Bible verses that we can call to mind, to bring us through tough times. Life is hard, but God's good. And I don't know what our family's future will be. I don't know what your futures will be. But one thing I know that I want to impart to you is that God is God and we are not. And he works all things together for good, for his glory and for our good. And some of these we may not know till we're in heaven together, but just you can count on God. And may we never forget that he's in control. And when we get fearful or anxious, and I have many fearful and anxious times, remember that that God is on our side and He's in charge and nothing touches us unless it's sifted down through His hands. And He is our strength and He is our shield. And He defends us and fights for us in ways that we could never appreciate or understand. And He's able to bring good out of any hard things that come into our lives. He's our compass. He's our navigator. He's our strength and our shield. And He just desires for us to follow Him with all our heart. And He wants us to ask Him for guidance. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth. For you are the God of my salvation. For thee I wait all the day long. You've heard me say that 1,000,000 times. That's my life verse. That's the verse that God used to turn my life around and start seeking to live for Him and not for myself. And your dad was a big part of that. He led me into Bible study. He led me into making sure of my salvation. So he's such a pivotal leader of this family. And I know as his sons, y'all will lead your families well. Yeah, you'll make mistakes. We've made mistakes. But you will get back on your feet, get back in the Word, and you'll strive to lead your family well. Because you know the picture above our mantle is of the prodigal son. We all fall short. We all make mistakes. But God is a loving God and a forgiving God. And He sent His Son. His blood covers our sins, covers our mistakes. There's no unforgivable sin. So just remember, when you fail, confess and turn and get up and run to the Father's arms and get a fresh start, a new beginning. We are eternal beings, and we'll live eternity with our Father in heaven, and we'll all be in eternity together.